this afternoon, day baseball as Albert Pujols and the Cardinals look to make it 3 in a row over the Brewers. Jeff Suppan, a former friend, now foe, takes to the mound for Milwaukee. Gorgeous afternoon for baseball. The roof is open, as you can see. The paneling as well. That means the shadows could play a factor here in Game 3. It's the Cardinals and the Brewers as St. Louis looks for a sweep. Last night, late inning heroics from Matt Holliday. A 2-run homer off the future Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman. That made it 4-3, and the Cardinals would win it by that score. Welcome to Day Baseball. That's Al, I'm Dan, and the Cardinals playing great baseball right now. A chance for a sweep over Milwaukee and 5 of 6 on the road. This has been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun. Really, baseball players say fun only translates into winning, and that's what the Cardinals have been doing an awful lot of lately. Doesn't matter if they're home or road, this team is really playing inspiring baseball and doesn't give up.
So it was the hitting last night of Matt Holliday, but in many ways, this run by the Cardinals defined by their starting pitching. Adam Wainwright is 9-2 against the NL Central this year. Jeff Suppan is 3-4. Wainwright looking for win number 18.
Well, Wainwright is the National League leader in wins. He's also amongst the leaders in strikeouts. He will overtake Lincecum in innings pitched here today, and that ERA is outstanding. But he really controls the strike zone, and as we saw Monday, the shadows could be a big factor.
Yeah, it's another chance for Wainwright to pad his resume for the Cy Young Award. Chris Carpenter did that in game number 1. The Cardinals then would win last night in game 2 in dramatic fashion. Wainwright and Suppan here in game 3, going for the sweep. It's next. Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. With just the right taste, it never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. And by Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at STL Chevy. SLNatmil.com. Miller Park in Milwaukee, where the roof is open and the paneling is open. And as we saw in day one, we mentioned it just moments ago in the open, shadows really become a factor here in game 3.
And that's something that players on both teams really said, that it was very tough to see the ball. And Carpenter doesn't need a lot of help, but with the shadows, he was unhittable. And Wainwright, much the same way, a harder thrower than Suppan. It should work to the Cardinals' advantage.
And Matt Holliday, of course, last night, the hero late the ball game against Trevor Hoffman. First slider, a good one. The second one, he hung it just a bit, and Holliday drove it over the center field wall. And let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup here this afternoon. Skip Schumacher will play second base, followed by Colby Rasmus in center and Albert Pujols at first. Matt Holliday is in left field. Ryan Ludwig in right. Mark DeRosa at third. Yadier Molina is the catcher. Brendan Ryan the shortstop, and the pitcher for the Cardinals is Adam Wainwright. It'll be Jeff Suppan getting the start for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers used 8 pitchers in last night's loss to the Cardinals, and he has a record of 6-8. 24 starts. He spent some time on the DL, and his number is brought to you by Marshall Wireless.
And not very good here at home, where he's 2-6, ERA over 6 in 12 starts. Of course, he had early in his career a lot of success against the Cardinals, and this season he's 1-1 with an ERA at 5 in his 3 starts, pitching against the Redbirds for the 4th time this year.
Defense behind Jeff Suppan here this afternoon with Ryan Braun in left. Jody Garrett shifts from right to center. Corey Hart gets the start in right field. Trey Counsell at third, Escobar at short, Lopez at second, Fielder at first, and the battery is Suppan and Kendall. Brewers defense presented by Auto Tire. Tony La Russa and the Cardinals are just running away with this division. They have not lost ground in the Central for over a month, and they lead the division by 11.5 over Chicago. Ken Maka and the Brewers start playing 16 games out, and it's worth noting, July 1st, they had a 2-game lead over the Cardinals, and here we are, early September, and now that's been an 18-game shift with them now 16 games out. That is just remarkable. In that short amount of time, the Cardinals now 16 games up on Milwaukee.
And not only what they've done in Milwaukee, but just the fact that you noted Chicago cannot pick up any ground. Almost unheard of. That I guess the last time they picked up any ground was back July 30th or something.
Well, the Cardinals last night stranded 11 runners, and they were 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, but yet the Holiday blast was the difference. And another factor in the game, how about John Smoltz keeping his team in the game after a couple of rough innings?
Well, that was it. And I talked to John about the strike zone and his problems with the home plate umpire. But, you know, he's feeling very comfortable in accomplishing what he set out to do. You know, he's feeling like he's being able to execute his pitches on a more frequent basis. And, you know, he gave up the early runs, but he kept his team there. And that's why I just sort of felt like if they kept the Brewers to 3 runs, the Cardinals would win that game.
And an 0-1 pitch to Schumacher. The breaking ball is popped up. Foul territory near the Cardinal dugout, put away by Counsell for the first out. That's how we start the ball game, and it brings in Colby Rasmus. We didn't think that Colby would play today, even though he did pinch hit in the ball game last night. He struck out with the bases loaded late in the 8th, but he's been dealing with an issue with his foot. And we thought with this being a day game, off day tomorrow, then you could play him at home on Friday, but Tony goes with him here today.
It was listed as day-to-day, and apparently probably after treatment today felt good enough to be making the start, and that's good to see.
Jeff Suppan in year 3 of a 4-year contract that pays him over $40 million. And you talked about his numbers here at home, and that's one of the reasons why this fan base has been frustrated with Soup.
Well, they kind of feel that they needed pitching after losing their 2 co-aces. And his wife, Dana, who's expecting their first child in October, looking on, and you know, they're very good in the community and wonderful people, but apparently right now the Brewer fans are not happy with Jeff.
Last hour on MLB Network, it was a look at the 2006 Cardinals run, and Jeff Suppan was obviously integral in getting the Cardinals into the World Series and what he did once he got into the postseason and the World Series for St. Louis.
I've said it numerous times. You know, in 04 and 05, 06, he probably was the Cardinals' best starter.
In postseason
play.
Yep. 2-2 pitch here to Rasmus. Pulls it foul. And visiting with the players yesterday about game one, to a man, I mean, even when they're out in the field, they said it's very hard to pick up the ball with the shadows, and it's certainly very difficult for the hitters. Now, it's not a factor right now, but it will be in about 25 minutes or so.
I was almost thinking was about a half hour later starting time on Monday, because it seemed like from the first pitch that the shadows were creeping in on the home plate area. And it is the same time, but maybe a little different sky today.
3-2 the count with Albert Pujols on deck. And that's taken for a ball low and in, and it brings in Albert.
One of the things that Suppan now has more walks than strikeouts this year. Very uncharacteristic for him, and you definitely don't want to walk somebody ahead of Albert.
Overall, against the Cardinals, he has pitched fairly well since he left St. Louis.
Well, I think a lot of that success, and it was last year he pitched well, but remember prior to coming to St. Louis, he was a pretty good pitcher against the Redbirds.
Of course, he knows these guys very well, and that means Albert Pujols. Pujols with home run number 45 last night. First pitch to him. Taken for a ball. Sam Holbrook is our home plate umpire. Jerry Davis at first. Dan Iasonia at second. And Larry Vanover, who heard it from both sides last night, is over at third base. Saw John Smoltz twice show some emotion on the mound. You just don't see that very often from John. Frustrated with a couple of those balls that were called non-strikes.
John was telling me today that doesn't have to divulge the name, but a major league umpire, and he was complaining earlier about a game, some of the calls, and he said the umpire told me, he said 11 years ago that was a strike, John, but no longer.
Is that right? So things have changed, huh?
And he said, now what is that? Is that Quiz Tech? And he said, yeah.
Pujols hits a rocket out to left center field. And Rasmus around second base into third with his good speed, and it's first and third with one out.
Well, we noticed last night that Rasmus was running well enough in his pinch hit appearance. He ultimately struck out, but there was a foul ball that he showed that he's feeling well enough for that heel and Achilles problem that he can scoot around the bases, and he just glided into third on that one.
Fun to watch him run, isn't it?
And not surprising, Albert hits Suppan well, but Holliday even better.
And Matt Holliday with that dramatic home run last night. 23 home runs on the season, 3 for 9 in this series, and he's got 12 home runs with the Cardinals and 41 RBIs in 42 games. His numbers comparable to that of Manny Ramirez last year. It's just a shade below Manny at this time last year for the Dodgers, and so many people talked about what a difference Manny made for LA last year. Well, how about Holliday here?
People had to make excuses for Manny, and you know that's how Manny is. Nobody makes excuses for the professional and teammate that Matt Holliday is. He has fit in extremely well with this new group of guys, and I think Matt is having a lot of fun as the team has the best record in Major Leagues since the acquisition.
He was saying after the game last night, one of the great things about being with this particular team, he said, my teammates love the game and work at the game as hard as I do. He said, I'm not sure I've had that in other spots. 1-0 pitch. And Holliday hits it out to left. Braun will back up, makes the catch, tagging up Rasmus, and it's another RBI for Matt Holliday. 1-0 Cardinals. He's driven in now 42.
Ryan Braun was very lucky that he was able to get back and haul in that line drive. Gets out there quickly. Off-speed pitch towards the end of the bat, and Braun took a step in, then goes back, jumps up, and catches it. Remember, Braun did not play on Monday. Kind of said that he had a little shoulder issue, but they say he's one of the biggest complainers about the shadows here during day baseball.
Could have been Carpenteritis.
I think that was another factor.
Here's Ludwig, his Carpenter in game one, a one-hitter. And the walk by Suppan comes back to cost him, as that's the first run of the game. This series, Ludwig 2 for 9. Carpenter, a lot of first pitch strikes on Monday, and he talked about establishing his fastball early in the count. He was able to do that 13 different times with that fastball. As Pujols is around second base, he'll test Garrett. Throw coming in, not in time.
We just love that aggressive base running. A lot of people would have been very content to stay at second base, but he challenges the center fielder and gets away with it with a lot of ease. So Albert out there has got the play in front of him, doesn't need to pick up his coach. He just heads on to third base and gets there really without a play. Now you got to take advantage and get a 2-out base hit.
Mark DeRosa with 2 outs and runners at first and third. It sounds like the Cardinals would like to extend Mark DeRosa and try to keep him in a St. Louis uniform for a while.
That is good news, because not to make excuses, but we haven't seen how good a player Mark DeRosa is because of that wrist injury. Sure, Mark agreed with that call, but you can see that by the time the Brewers bat, those shadows are going to be a factor. So take advantage right here in the first.
One ball, one strike. So apparently they have initiated at least some informal talks with Mark and his representatives.
Still see the catcher and batter are out of the shadows, but just since this game has started, they creeped out there about 10 feet.
1-1 pitch to DeRosa. He doubled last night. Yadier Molina on deck.
Look at this. Look at this.
Advances to second base. So he gets himself in scoring position.
Kendall would look like he's arguing, pleading for the call.
Was he wondering if it was a foul tip? I mean, he just stopped playing.
Yeah, and Ludwig, give Ludwig some credit. Watch, he's not going. And then he sees him really kind of reacting, and
I wonder if he just took for granted that Ludwig was not going to be running. Ball was in the dirt, and then he would hand it back to the umpire for a new baseball.
Well, they called a wild pitch.
The 2-1. Well, that was odd.
Yes.
Popped up to the right side. Fielder over in foul territory. The Cardinals strand 2, but they pick up the first run of this ball game. Wainwright looking for win number 18 today. as we move to the bottom of the first. A look at the lineup for the Brewers. They're in fourth place in the Central. Felipe Lopez at second base, Craig Counsell, and then Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, Corey Hart, Jody Garrett, who broke up the no-hitter by Carpenter in Game 1, Jason Kendall, Alcides Escobar, their shortstop, and then Jeff Suppan. First pitch by Adam Wainwright, who lasted 5 innings in his last start. He's taken for a strike. His numbers presented by Marshall Wireless, 17-7 this year.
Got a break as he won that ball game, having a rough 5th inning, but his teammates came from behind and saved the day. He's 5th in the National League in strikeouts. You remember last time out he had that streak of 26 starts of at least 6 innings. That was snapped, but he is 10-1 on the road this year. He also had his 13 quality start streak snapped last start.
There's that breaking ball, and it is a swing and miss pitch. He has thrown a bunch of those this year and had great success with it. And the first strikeout for Wainwright. Holiday, Rasmus, Ludwig in the outfield. Cardinals defense brought to you by Auto Tire, DeRosa, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. Battery today, Wainwright and Molina. Would you agree we've seen more breaking balls this year from Adam Wainwright?
I think so. To the point, early in the season, a lot of his teammates kind of kidded him about the fact that he maybe didn't have the confidence in his fastball.
Here's a guy that can throw mid-90s.
Right. And sometimes you fall in love with the pitch, and you're saying, okay, everybody gets to the big leagues hitting fastballs. But when you've got a good fastball and you have the ability to spot it, sure, get ahead with that pitch should be the easiest one to throw for strikes, and then put them away with a breaking ball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Craig Counsell. So we'll go back to Carpenter, Al, in Game 1, and establishing that fastball early with all those first pitch strikes, and then all of a sudden you're at his mercy. He gets ahead. I mean, it's all but over, it seems like.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, last 2 pitches, cutter and not a changeup, but go out and throw that fastball for strikes, move it around, change it, and then when you've got 2 strikes, or throw the get-ahead breaking ball.
That's ripped down the right field line off the bat of Counsell, and a fair ball into the corner. Over to dig it out, Ludwig. Counsell to second, now on his way to third. Relay to third base, and he is out at third. A late call, and Counsell is out. And here comes Ken Maka. He wants to argue, and what a throw from Schumacher over to DeRosa on the bag.
I've had people say that Ken Maka says he has a good relationship with umpires and doesn't defend his players enough. But maybe right now it's one of those times where a manager needs to get thrown out of a game to stand up for his team. Now here's a great relay, and look at Schumacher with that exceptional arm, guns it all the way to DeRosa, and he's out.
Yes.
May have kind of swiped the tag there a little bit, but you see the umpire Larry Vanover, he gets the throw down and he's out. Counsell was looking for his 9th triple of the season, 8 is career high.
I wonder, part of the argument for Maka is to say you're not in the right position to make that call, as he seemed to be blocked a little bit in that spot. And remember, that was the home plate umpire from last night.
He was also in a lot better position than Maka.
I agree, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
And to the naked eye, I thought he was safe, and then the replay with the swipe tag.
I thought he was out both ways.
And a ground ball hit to the shortstop, Brendan Ryan. So take a look at our third base umpire here. Some boos in Milwaukee. Larry Vanover. Not a real good look there. Cardinals will take it, though. And still some boos for Larry Vanover as the home folks not pleased with that call at third base. But terrific relay there by Schumacher and Counsell. Ken Maka hustling out to make sure he got Counsell out of the argument. You thought that maybe Maka might get ejected. That wasn't the case. Our keys to the game, Jeff Suppan since leaving St. Louis. First 6 games, he was 5-0, and the last 2, 0-1. That ERA is near 9. And it's our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we know Jeff, when he executes pitches and when he gets the ball, on the corners, up and down, he can be a handful. But when he's in the middle of the plate, he's very hittable.
His first season with the Cardinals was 04. He was 16-9 in 31 starts. In 05, he went 16-10. He had 32 starts, and then 32 more starts in 06, and he was 12-7. And that was a 3-year contract, $15 million, and the Cardinals really benefited from that deal, and Jeff also benefited from the deal, parlaying success in St. Louis to 4 years and $42 million from Milwaukee.
That's right, and being on pitching so well in postseason play, had your resume.
But you need guys on a staff that can give you innings, and for the most part in his career, especially while in Kansas City, he was giving the Royals over 200 innings 4 straight years. And then with Pittsburgh and Boston the year before he signed with the Cardinals, that was over 200 innings. And here's a ground ball hit to short. Escobar with it. With the Cardinals, the most he pitched was 194, but ERA was respectable and the win total was good.
This is his 25th start this year, and he came in with 130 innings. So down quite a bit.
Here's the shortstop, Brendan Ryan. This series 3 for 8 with a triple and a double, and he was getting an earful from everybody last night, wasn't he? You might want to explain to the folks at home one of the rules the Cardinals have in place now when Albert is at the plate and there's a runner at first.
Well, you never steal with, you have to be given a sign, and it wasn't the issue of him stealing. That was fine. I think it was the point at some point yesterday that they felt like he was a little distracted, that he wasn't, didn't have his head in the game, but it just seems like he's the whipping boy. Whenever there's anything that he does that's questionable, I mean, right away everybody just attacks Brendan. Other guys get a free pass, but as part of being a young player, and we all know nobody can argue with what he's doing in the field and even at the bat, 288 average and playing great defense.
And he's kept the mustache. He's one of them that has kept it. The 1-2 pitch to Brendan. Reaches forward and pulls a base hit to the left side. And Pat, you have more on the mustache of Brendan Ryan's.
Well, guys, he was one of the last ones to grow the mustache. What was it, 8 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, when everybody was doing it, especially the pitchers. He was one of the last ones to grow it, but he is the last one that still is sporting a mustache, and he says he's not going to shave it off until this incredible run that he's on and the team is on ends, and he hopes that doesn't end until after the postseason is over. And so he's going to stick with it, and he was so excited when he was in L.A. A couple of weeks ago to see family, and he had 9 members of his family show up with those T-shirts that the Cardinals have been sporting as well about the power of the mustache.
So he's keeping it, huh?
He's going to keep it. He's going to ride the wave.
Okay. Here's Adam Wainwright.
I got one correction there. He started when everybody else did. You just couldn't see it.
Yeah, maybe that was it. He keeps saying now, though, that he's going to do the Raleigh fingers as soon as it grows out a little bit and get some mustache wax and curl it up. But I don't know if you guys have probably noticed as well as I have. It hasn't grown anymore. It's not going to turn into a Raleigh finger.
And he,
Pat, I don't have experience in those matters.
And he has,
Al does.
He has used, say, Keith Hernandez's favorite product.
Oh.
That's why we can see it now.
Wainwright off the end of the bat. It's spinning and off the glove of fielder, and Wainwright is out by a step. So Brendan Ryan puts himself into scoring position and a chance for Schumacher. How about the throw of Skip Schumacher, and having an outfielder who, when he's in the outfield, has a strong arm. All of a sudden you put him at second base and it really stands out.
Yes, and there's numerous times that where you've seen that. A lot of people just think that you can just move somebody to second base, but more times than not, there's a lot of off-balance throws. There's throws that you're going out into the outfield where you got to reverse form and throw back to first base, and then on the relay throw, he's really an asset.
Big gap in the right center. There's 2 outs. Brendan Ryan has good speed at second base. First time up, Schumacher popped out into foul territory.
Defense, and it looks like Hart playing very deep out in right field. Ron relatively shallow in left, but a lot of times we see him just hit that little line drive that doesn't really carry, but is a base hit to left field.
Milwaukee Brewers this season under 500, and here at home 34-36. The 1-1 pitch, and Schumacher pulls it to the right side. Felipe Lopez is there. Prince Fielder leads it off when we come back. Last 30-minute special tonight, profiling the team's next generation of stars, like defenseman Alex Pietrangelo, goalie Jake Allen, and center Philip McRae, Basil McRae's son. Philip McRae. Watch Spotlight Blues rookies tonight at 6:30 and throughout September on Fox Sports Midwest, and will be the exclusive home of the Blues. Over 70 games this year on Fox Sports Midwest. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on Prince Fielder.
Back-to-back breaking balls to get ahead 0-2.
Fielder 125 RBIs, attempting to join Cecil Cooper as the only Brewers to lead the majors in RBIs. Pujols is at 121. They want to go inside, and that pitch is fouled away.
A couple breaking balls, then a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that he's a little tardy on.
Cecil Cooper did that, by the way, in 1980. He had 122 that season. And that pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wainwright struck out 1 in the first. That was Felipe Lopez. One-two pitch. And a swing and a miss. A strikeout of Prince Fielder. And that's 2 this afternoon for Wainwright.
First curveball he threw was 72. Then he had a 75, and now the strikeout pitch, keep on gearing it up a little bit, it's 78. But good downward action and has him fishing already. 2 strikeouts. You know, Carpenter had 10 in his gem on Monday. Let's see what Wainwright can do. He's 5th in the National League in strikeouts.
This is Corey Hart, fresh off his appendectomy. So he went down for a brief rehab assignment, 4 games, went 5 for 10. And we saw him in game 2 of this series last night. 2 balls and no strikes. Ryan Franklin, congratulations to him, the Cardinals closer, the winner of Major League Baseball's Delivery Man of the Month for August. He was in 12 games and 11 for 11 in save opportunities. The Cardinals would love to give him today off. Then it's the off day tomorrow, and regroup then with Franklin on Friday night when Atlanta gets to town. So 12 games in August, 11 for 11. Only gave up 6 hits in those 11 innings pitched.
You can see those, you know, the 6 hits and the 6 walks. That's where Tony really felt like, even though he was getting his saves, his opponents were batting average against him, a lot more runners, throwing a lot more pitches, and so they really feel that he will be rejuvenated after, hopefully, what will be a 4 days off, and then with the off day a week, the rest of the way through, he'll be fine.
Corey Hart, high fly ball out to left, should stay in the ballpark, and Holiday makes the catch in front of the track. You know, Al, the Cardinals could have the executive of the year, manager of the year, Cy Young, MVP, rookie of the year. I mean, it's been that kind of season for St. Louis. You can visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at STLCardinals.com. Get your t-shirts and caps, everything you need for the Cardinals at STLCardinals.com. And I bring that up because Franklin could be the fireman of the year.
Fireman of the year, of course. Oh, Albert with MVP and Carpenter with the Cy Young the same year. But you get a few more of those awards. And of course, you'd have to think those awards are voted on before you get into postseason play. But I think everybody's thinking about how special the entire year can be.
Pujols, Wainwright, Garrett retired. Rasmus, Albert, Matt Holliday coming up. It's 1-0 after 2. It's NFL Sunday and a doubleheader. Brett Favre and the Vikings. He'll make his debut against the Browns. You don't know who their quarterback's going to be because it's highly secretive. The Cowboys take on the Buccaneers, and the pregame show is 11 a.m. Central. Eric Mangini is saying, I'm not going to tell you who my starting quarterback is going to be. Derek Anderson or Brady Quinn.
Don't give the opposition any kind of advantage.
No.
they'll have to do the work on both quarterbacks in Tennessee.
So here we go in the third inning, and Colby Rasmus, the hitter. Suppan, look what I found. Good play. Colby retired.
Nice play by Sup right there. That was a hard smash right back at him. And I think it was a little case of what you're saying. Look what I found. But
he'll take it.
Nonetheless, he's got the first out.
And it brings in Pujols, who singled. You know, we saw Suppan in St. Louis, where if he got off to a slow start, if he was able to get through that first or second inning, and for the most part come away unscathed, he would settle in, and all of a sudden you'd look up and it's 6 or 7 innings and he's still on the mound.
Well, usually looked at him as a 6th-inning pitcher that was going to give up 3 runs. And the way Wainwright is pitching, I don't know if you can afford to give up 3 runs and expect to keep your team in the game.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Albert hits it in the air to right center. Jody Garrett with room to make the catch. Quickly 2 outs. We talked about how John Smoltz kept the Cardinals in that game last night. We mentioned on our pregame show he has a 24-hour rule. 24 hours. So think about that start, think about the game, and then it's over. He's on to Monday, which is his next scheduled start for Smoltz.
I asked him, I told him that how disappointed you are with Tony that he is not making a start against the Atlanta Braves.
I bet he appreciates that.
And he said that he would really like to do that now. But he said, I've already through with that. I said, well, you know what's it going to be like? And he said, well, I've already faced them in Boston and in Atlanta. You know, didn't really say whether he faced him, you know, but he's already been there to see his old teammates.
Well, hold on now. Facing him and seeing them,
but that's what I'm saying.
Things.
But he said I probably would like to do it now.
Yeah.
But the fact of getting the
and Holiday rips it. Oh, what a play here by the third baseman Counsell. Takes the hit away, and the pick on the other end by Fielder. Nicely done on both ends. As Holiday fell after he went past the bag at first. And Phils scare me more than the Dodgers. It's Rob D on FoxSports.com/Midwest, and fans are blogging Real big issue right now for Charlie Manuel. They were recently swept by Houston, but another blown save in that series by Brad Lidge. And then last night, he had to be lifted in that game. A lot of losses for him, and certainly uncertainty in the back end of their bullpen when he was perfect last year. But that is a real concern if you don't have a closer going into postseason play.
Well, Charlie Manuel has said that he is his closer. I believe prior to last night, he had blown 10 saves this season after, what was it, 48 for 48. And he's got a couple pitchers. You know, Happ's got a back issue now. One thing you got to remember is no matter who you play, they're going to be an outstanding team.
This has popped up again. I would say this. The Phillies would scare you if you still had the same team prior to the deals for Holiday and DeRosa and also Lugo, because at that point in time you had those lefties like Duncan, Thurston, and Schumacher having to go up against Happ, having to go up against Hamels or Cliff Lee. And that's a big difference in that series.
Sure it is, but you know, a lot of people say Lincecum and Kane, you don't want to face them. Now they have fallen 3 back in the wild card, back behind Colorado.
A 2-2 to Kendall. Breaking ball and doesn't get the call there.
Ball players' attitude is, you know, you just don't worry about who you play against. You just make sure you're ready for them. If you dwell on so much or hope you have one opponent, you know, that next one will sneak up on you. And before you know it, you're out of the game.
Here's a ground ball, and Brendan Ryan to his left to make the play. A little high throw, but Pujols still on the bag for the first out. But most people will tell you now that the wild card has been in play. That's one of the teams you probably don't want to face because they're one of the hottest in baseball going into the postseason.
I can give you an explanation, or even before the wild card. In 1978, it was with Kansas City, and Boston had like a 14-15 game lead in late August, and the Royals had a commanding lead, so you knew that, you know, it just seemed as natural to mentally prepare to face Boston. But that was the year that Bucky Dent had the home run off of Mike Torres, and the Yankees snuck in there. You know, had the 1-game playoff after the season was over, and the next day they were in Kansas City playing. Well, the Royals were still thinking they were going to be playing Boston, and it was a, you know, they really just blew the.
Pujols ranging to his right, and a race to the bag. It's safe. Is the speedster Escobar, and Wainwright wants to have a word with our first base umpire, Jerry Davis.
As you can see, I saw Schumacher with his head down. As you know, that was a much easier play for Schumacher, the second baseman, than Albert ranging as far as he did. And it's a foot race right here. Youngster can run,
and he's out.
And he's out. So Jerry Davis, the crew chief, blew that one.
Well, if you're wondering, let's go back and take a look at the top records in the National League and then winning the pennant. And you have to go back to 2004. The Cardinals had the best record in the National League. You see that on the left. And then the pennant winner, the St. Louis Cardinals in 04. So the only team to do that since 2000. So best record, it tells you, isn't necessarily the team that's going to win.
I look at Florida. Florida, they have 2 world championships, and both times they were the wild card. Cardinals in 06 had the least wins of any division winner, and they played the best baseball in postseason. They only had 83 wins, and they won the world championship as a wild card.
And the Cardinals are 83 and 57 this season. Pujols will throw to first base. Schumacher's covering. So the sacrifice good. 3-4, and it brings in Lopez. Well, coming up, it's the Coca-Cola pennant, and that'll be on this Saturday, featuring the Cardinal All-Stars of Pujols, Ryan, Molina, and La Russa. All kids 15 and under receive the pennant courtesy of Coca-Cola and Pasta House. For tickets, visit STLCardinals.com. Lopez struck out swinging first time up. The Brewers offense is to blame for a down year as well. And recently they have scored 3 runs or less in each of their last 5 games. Hitting 165 in that stretch, 135 with runners in scoring position.
Remember, this is supposed to be one of the high-powered offenses, so you can't always blame it on the pitching.
Felipe Lopez, back-to-back years, a pickup with the Cardinals and now with Milwaukee, and he's done his part. He's really played well.
He's hit well against Wainwright. 417, 5 for 12 coming in, and Wainwright struck him out to lead off this game, bottom of the first.
Hitting over 300 as a member of the Brewers, his 42nd start with the Brew Crew today. Where is that pitch? 2 balls and a strike. And Felipe was part of the World Baseball Classic in Team Puerto Rico with Jose Oquendo back in March. Two and two.
Just kind of see when you take a fastball like that you're really just not seeing it. Because now home plate and the pitcher are in the shadows, but the height of Wainwright, 6'7", his probably release point is in the middle of the sun.
2-2 pitch. And a little chopper to Albert. He'll backhand it. Takes it himself. Steps on the bag. The Brewers strand their first runner. Ryan Ludwig leads it off when we come back. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. And by Taco Bell's new Volcano menu. It's seriously spicy. Dan and Al back with you in Milwaukee. Champions in 57.
It's the names of the team, I guess, ran there. It was an awful lot more than 25.
There's Ryan Ludwig, who singled his first time up, and then Mark DeRosa and Yadier Molina.
Kasam Mo Dabrowski, Jim Hickman.
Of course, Red Shandy's played a major role.
Oh, yeah.
Milwaukee Ball Club.
You know, they had a good ball club, but they became world champions when Red Shandy's came over here and really kind of was the missing part to help get them over the top.
1-1 pitch.
Had a lot of leadership, and then after his years here with the Milwaukee Braves, Red came back to St. Louis and was a very highly talented pinch hitter. That was Holiday when we saw him stumble after the bag and looked like he abrasions on the knee.
3-1 the count. Top of the fourth, 1-0 St. Louis, and an RBI by Matt Holliday. And Ludwig rips it left side. Counsell again. Wow.
Back-to-back sensational plays by Counsell, the Milwaukee native. He's a winning ball player. Scout would grade him out. He wouldn't grade that highly, but he knows how to play winning baseball on a championship team. He's done that 2 different organizations, 2 times was a World Series champion.
Florida Marlins and the Arizona Diamondbacks. DeRosa popped out to Prince Fielder his first time up. So they work on that both knees of Matt Holliday.
It was always fun, you know, on the turf. Somebody get a rug burn. And you just remember that there was somebody that had the nasty habit of chewing tobacco, spitting all that juices on that. You get infected, and it would stay that way all season long.
It's disgusting.
Oh, it is. I mean, think about the football players that had to play on that stuff. And you could get an abrasion, and literally it would almost last all season.
Sure. 1 ball, 1 strike. Think about Lenny Dykstra when he was in Philadelphia. That's ripped into left center field, and extra bases here for Mark DeRosa. Similar to his double last night, as that rolls all the way to the wall. Garrett will get it back in, and it's a 1-out double for the Cardinal third baseman.
Speaking of Dykstra, you have something against toxic waste dumps, you know?
That's what basically he had out there in center. Bruce had the huge chaw, the side of his cheek.
That's what he's saying, that if Suppan can hit his spots, he can be a handful. But when he throws the ball down the middle of the plate, he is very hittable.
Here's Molina, grounded out to short first time up. .291 with runners in scoring position this year for Yachty. Brendan Ryan on deck.
Suppan has really been trying to attack the inside part of the plate. That's why missing a little bit. And Counsell's had some rockets at him, but his defense has been good enough to help out Soup.
And Molina hit by the pitch. So runners at first and second, 1 out. You can join the team in sunny Florida for spring training 2010 with new lower prices. This is sure to be the ultimate baseball vacation. This is how you find out more. You go to stocardinals.com/spring travel or call 800-892-7687 for more info. Again, the number 800-892-7687. You know you're getting late in the season when you start doing promos for spring training 2010.
I like the promo that talks about postseason tickets a little more than the spring training.
Yeah, the hats and the shirts and everything else you can get.
We've got some great promotions coming up, and we haven't heard from Joe Strom about ticket availability, so I'm sure there's plenty of good seats available.
Here's Brendan Ryan. Joe, the vice president of ticket sales, and we get the chance to visit with Joe an awful lot and the folks in the Cardinals offices, and they have just been thrilled with the response of the fan base this year. As initial projections were around 2.8, 2.9, and the Cardinals will be close to 3.4 possibly before it's all said and done. Brendan Ryan, this could be 2. Out at second, on to first, and a low throw, but they get him. A double play. Midway through 4, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. this Saturday. Tigers take on Bowling Green. Then on the 19th, they'll play Furman. And many video providers in our Cardinals viewing area will offer these pay-per-view games for $29.95. Missouri yesterday voted into the top 25 in the country, and you can access your digital program guide or call your local cable, satellite, or fiber optic provider to order. And again, it's $29.95. Blaine Gabbert and the Tigers this weekend from Thoreau Field. Nice round of applause for Craig Counsell after his very good defensive plays. He's taken a couple of hits away. Counsell here, and then Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. 1-0 St. Louis, and the RBI in the first by Matt Holliday.
Also got the only legitimate hit, and then was thrown out trying to stretch a double into a triple.
Doesn't like that first strike call. He's behind now, no balls and 1 strike. The Cardinals will have a busy weekend with Chipper Jones and the Atlanta Braves in town. Fleece blanket night on Friday, and then the pennant giveaway on Saturday.
How about just a great homestand?
9 games coming up.
And very important games in the wild card. And maybe the Cardinals will have a chance to clinch by the time the Cubs come in at the end of the 9-game homestand.
0-2 pitch to Counsell. Tails in, but for a ball.
Counsell didn't like the first call. I'm sure Wainwright didn't like that one.
I agree. Wainwright working from the first base side of the rubber. 2-2. Derek Jeter is still looking to pass Lou Gehrig as the all-time hits leader in Yankees history.
Kind of amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
You'd think somebody would have 3,000.
And a ground ball hit to the second baseman Schumacher. That time Pujols stayed at first and Skip put it away. 1 out.
That's what I said, the only legitimate hit. Because Escobar's hit, where really the replay showed as Albert went too far to his right, and actually Wainwright beat the throw, but it was called safe.
Ryan Braun, a fan favorite here in Milwaukee, is one shy of 100 home runs for his career. He's also the first player in the franchise history to hit at least 20 in each of his first 3 major league seasons.
And you know what a good hitter he is, but just shows you how remarkable Pujols has been. 9 years and hitting at least 30 home runs in all 9 years.
And Braun with a 7-game hitting streak on the line today. And today he is 0 for 2. I think it's worth noting again, I mean, the shadows and the difficulty that these players have had. Just you see some of the check swings and just the non-fluid swings that you normally see from some of these great players. Indecisive.
Yeah, they all talk about how difficult it is, and if you can throw the ball in the mid-90s, it makes it even tougher. And then to judge whether a breaking ball was in an area where you should swing at it, knowing that it's gonna move.
Here's Fielder, was struck out back in the second.
Why do you wear sunglasses if you're in the shade?
Fielder has played in every game this season for the Brewers.
Wouldn't that kind of complicated? It looks cool though.
Anytime there's a day game, he's got the glasses on though. Fielder is also in many ways like Pujols, where he gets walked a lot. Jeremy Burnitz back in 2000 had 99 walks, and Fielder needs 7 to break that franchise record.
Albert has walked 104 times this year. 40 of them have been intentional. That sets a new Cardinal record. and he struck out only 56 times.
Good breaking ball, 2-2, and they've been throwing that breaking ball where it starts out in the strike zone when fielder has 2 strikes, and then they've gotten him fishing with that ball that winds up in the dirt.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Remember, here's the curveball, didn't shook it off, fastball in. But remember, Carpenter struck him out on one that bounced up there.
It's another good pitch there by Wainwright.
Comes the curveball.
A 3-2. That's the pitch right there. That time Prince just got a piece.
It's so difficult to say, okay, if the ball starts out belt high, to lay off it. Because you know the bottom's going to fall out. You got to recognize the spin, the pitch selection, and then you got a split second to determine whether you're going to swing or not. Fastball in.
And a strikeout of Fielder. Couldn't pull the trigger, and that's 3 today for Adam Wainwright. We move to the 5th, 1-0. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Cardinal fans, and I've been a Cardinal fan for 26 years today. There you go. There's the breaking ball to Adam Wainwright.
You know how dominant Wainwright has been. The Cardinals are 14-4 in his last 18 starts, and scoring 1 run or less in his 4 losses, and only 3 runs total in those 4 losses. So it's very misleading when you look at Wainwright. The team has scored 134 runs when he's been on the mound leading the major leagues. But there's been numerous times where he's gotten very little run support, and still is the game's only 17-game winner.
And so what you're saying, Al, don't overlook Wainwright for the Cy Young.
That's what I'm saying. Now, he overtakes Lincecum right now in innings pitched. So he's thrown the most innings in the National League. That'll help. He's 5th in.
That will help as well. It's a double off his bat down into the corner, and Ryan Braun has to dig it out. Lead-off double for Wainwright.
He's 5th in strikeouts in the National League. His ERA came in as 4th best. There's a hanging breaking ball. Let's flash back to Sepon as he hits one of his 2 home runs this year. May 26th this year. He's got 5 total home runs in his still young career. And he's numbers are starting to get very attractive as a starting pitcher. Career numbers.
Al, I think now with the fact that Carpenter had a masterful Labor Day game, and this is hit the other way, Braun over to get it to make the catch, coupled with the misstart by Lincecum. Now more of the eyes are saying, okay, they're shifting towards Carpenter and Wainwright and saying, what are these guys doing here in St. Louis? You agree?
Well, I think they're starting to take notice. And the more wins the Cardinals accumulate, and then when you say it's more than just one guy, and Pinheiro has been amongst the league leaders there too. But just go out there and keep on winning your ball games, do the best you can, and let the numbers speak for themselves.
Here's Colby Rasmus, hit one right back at Soup last time up. That pitch is a strike.
And how about how unselfish Wainwright is also? When people ask about him being, a Cy Young candidate, he goes, well, how can I be that? I'm not the best pitcher on my own staff.
But that's the way this team
modest.
is.
Yeah, very modest. And, Holiday last night after the game winner being interviewed by Pat, and he's talking about the contributions of the guys around him.
Oh, 0-2 now on Rasmus. Bunting there on the 0-1 pitch. I'm not sure that Tony would like that.
I don't like it because you're supposed to be able to drive him in. And here, it's going to be the second out. And maybe you do get the guy over to third base, but he's very capable of driving him in. And if he gets him over third, they'll probably pitch around Albert.
1-2. Hit the ball hard right back at Suppan, and then first time up, walked and scored the only run. RBI and a sac fly by Matt Holliday.
Kobe's second among National League rookies with his 14 home runs, tied for third with his 45 RBIs. Be the man and drive him in.
In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, you can join in our blog on foxsports.com/Midwest. Pat, Jim, Cal, they're all a part of that. 2-2 the count. And Rasmus hits it the other way, left center. Garrett won't get it. Wainwright can just walk on home. Rasmus to second. Rasmus flying on his way to third. And it's a triple and an RBI.
Counsel's going to argue. But that is, they rotated the umpire, so that wasn't Larry Banover. That's the second base umpire, Iasonia, Dan, who made that call. So counsel wasn't going to argue too long with him. But this is what you want to see Kobe do. Instead of bunting, drive the ball. Go out there and rifle that ball out there. I think the surprise Garrett a little bit is he kind of had a shallow approach and didn't go back on that ball. Gets over his head, and the Cardinals get another run. And now they got a runner at third base with Albert Pujols coming up and only 1 out. Great opportunity to pick up another RBI.
Outfield is deep and straight away, and the infield is playing in, and counsel arguing, I'm sure, that Rasmus came off the bag and he applied the tag. And of course, counsel a part of that bang bang play at third base when he was trying to extend it into a triple and then was thrown out by Schumacher. Pujols 1 for 2 today.
Adam helped his cause and a double and scores the second run.
1-0 pitch. Ricky Ankiel is moved to the on deck circle, so let's hope that Matt Holliday is okay. Remember, they were dealing with both his knees, and he just went into the bag, rather odd approach to it, and then hit the dirt. Left center, well hit, and it is out of here. A 2-run homer by Albert Pujols. Number 46, RBIs 122 and 123. 4-0 Cardinals.
All the outfielders could do is just look. Cardinal fans are on their feet, and the Brewers fans are saying same old soup.
And by his reaction, he may have called it, or something happened with he and Lugo prior to the at bat that they talked about this potentially coming through, and he does. Right when he hit it, he looked back, and it looked like he was signaling to Lugo, didn't it?
Yeah. And sometimes you get that feel, and you just know that what a pitcher's trying to do to you, and you just know that you're going to do it a little better. That helps out, and I'm sure it's more of a precautionary with Holiday. And now that it's 4-0, you feel a little bit better taking a big weapon out of that and bringing in Ankiel. Cardinals lack just a single for hitting for the cycle this inning. Right there, he misses location out over the plate, and you saw Suppan. He knew he was in trouble.
Ankiel, a little flare. Going out Escobar, he'll call for it. The shortstop makes the catch.
Let's watch Lugo. As you see, he's pretty excited. Yeah, you did it. You're the man. That'll make Edith and Larry Phillips happy. They're celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary today, and Albert just provided a big present.
So 2 home runs in the series for Pujols, up to 46, and 2 back of Prince Fielder for the RBI lead. A 2-hit day for Pujols. Ludwig into center field with a base hit.
There's our single for the cycle this inning.
And Suppan, not through 5, has given up 8 base hits. The Brewers have just 2 hits. So here's Mike DeRosa, 1 for 2, and he doubled back in the 4th. Already a left-hander getting up and throwing. That's Narbison, who pitched in game 1, was up and throwing to come in relief in the ball game last night, and getting loose here in game 3. Albert Pujols with 46 home runs. Ninth 07, Brewers become the 3rd team in Major League Baseball history to begin a game with 3 consecutive home runs. Weeks, Hardy, and Braun all did that. September 9th of 07, our Schnooks this date in baseball history. It was Boston. Their first 5 hits were home runs. Ball game yesterday, they wound up with 6. Dustin Pedroia hit 2. There's Corey Hart. Is there any chance that Pujols does not win the MVP?
No.
I don't think you make case for anybody else outside of Albert. 1-1. Hart in the air to center. And Colby Rasmus puts it away for the out. I'm going to say that is a catch, and made the catch, went into his glove to throw it back in the infield to drop the ball. So 1 away. Since July 1st, a big reason why the Cardinals are running away with this division. Wainwright, Carpenter, and Pinheiro. Look at that. Combined 28-2. 28-2. And the team record 33-5. Al, that is as good as it gets.
That's pitching. I mean, we've seen a team have one, maybe two dominant guys, but I can't think of three with such favorable numbers over that length of time.
You know, we talked about Holiday and DeRosa, free agents. What about La Russa Duncan?
What about them?
Well, the rest of baseball has to take a look at those guys and say, hey, if they become available, we've got to take a look if our slots are open.
And we'll see if they're available.
But those two
Tony
have
has
just been remarkable in this run with St. Louis.
Yeah, and Tony's had his 7 division titles, 2 national league pennants, and a world championship. And Tony has the all-time franchise win record now for the Cardinals.
The thing is, Al, though, you talk to your players and the guys that have been around now for a while, like a Carpenter and like a Pujols. I don't think they could imagine playing for somebody else other than Tony. I mean, they have the utmost respect for the positions that he puts his team in and the work that he puts in. They respect that very much.
I think he's won over everybody that's in this clubhouse. And, you know, as I said, he demands a lot from his players, but he and his coaching staff give twice the effort back to them.
Face it into right center, over to get it Colby. And Garrett is 1 for 2. You can stop by the Westin and enter to win your chance to catch pop flies and win great prizes. For complete details, www.westonpopupchallenge.com or call 314-621-2000.
You know, Tony always has that standard answer that at the end of the season wants to make sure ownership, management, and his core players want him back, and I can't see any reason why they wouldn't.
Here's Kendall in a potential double play.
And it's hard to imagine Tony without Dave Duncan.
Well, I think, you know, Tony, after watching the Cardinals go out and get these players, has given him some, you know, reassurance that, hey, we're trying to win right now for you and for this franchise.
No doubt about it. You know, and he's used that as a motivation with the players, saying that, you know, there's no excuse. Ownership and front office have done everything to put us in position, reward us for a grueling first half, and now it's up to the players to get the job done. And so far, they have taken that initiative and ran with it.
Up the middle, base hit for Jason Kendall. Back-to-back singles. Brings in Escobar.
See, it's catching a lot of the plate. It's down a little bit, so it keeps it a single. And, you know, it's right now that it wouldn't be a bad idea for Molina or somebody to come out and say, you know, Adam, remember what happened in Pittsburgh.
We get the feeling one way or another this will be it for Jeff Suppan, too. His spot is due up on deck. And McGee is now moved to the on-deck circle, and Narveson continues to throw in the bullpen.
Sure.
Popped up and out of play. Escobar, a single back in the third. Good numbers in this spot with runners in scoring position.
Good speed, tough to double up.
0-2. So there's a look at Narveson. Ken Maka had him up and throwing, you might remember last night, to potentially face the lefty, which at the time was Colby Rasmus, didn't bring him in, and Claudio Vargas got out of that jam.
And the explanations we heard that he's not comfortable bringing in his lefty to face left-handers. So then why was he even warming up?
Then he sat down and got a righty up, but he had the scenario he wanted, a lead in the ninth with Trevor Hoffman, and it just didn't work out. 1-2 the count. Escobar is one of their prized prospects that they refused to part with at the trade deadline. Reaches forward and a ground ball out at second. And I don't know if he was out, because that's a force play and it looked like his feet were off the bag, and then he hopped over the runner. Cardinals may have caught a break, unless he put the tag on him.
Ran a little bit too flashy.
See what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
Never touched the bag.
Safe. In the vicinity, and Cardinals catch a break right there. Not anything of Schumacher's fault. A wide throw that messed up his timing and his footwork at the bag, but close enough. Apparently he sold it to the second base umpire. And there's runners at the corners, but 2 outs for the pinch hitter, Casey McGee.
Suppan gives up 4 runs, a homer to Pujols, and 8 hits. McGee, the pinch hitter for Soup, gives Milwaukee 5 innings.
He really has come on strong as a candidate for National League Rookie of the Year. He's amongst the leaders in just about all categories, and all of his 13 home runs have come in his last 66 games.
The deepest Suppan has gone this year in a game, 7 innings. And that's, let's see, he's gone 7 innings 1 time in his last 9. And then if you take it back to the past 13 starts, the deepest he got outside of the 7-inning game was 6 2/3. So essentially he's been 5 or 5+, and that's it, but not 6.
Fastball in. And now Molina looks over, and somebody from the bench says something different. So the curveball. I like that call better.
1-2 pitch with 2 outs and runners at the corners for Milwaukee. A grounder pulled foul.
Casey McGee was picked up off of waivers from the Chicago Cubs, and he pretty much has put one of their top prospects, Gamble, on the bench. Back to the minor leagues. Matt Gamble was recalled yesterday, but McGee's going to get the bulk of the playing time at third. It's like the cutter for it to be away.
And a 1-2.
Good pitch, and you're ahead in the count. He just doesn't chase.
The 9 RBIs of the series last week in St. Louis, and you see 2 outs, runners in scoring position, a .531 batting mark.
That's why we say that, you know, he's put his name in the running. Curveball.
A 2-2. And a swing and a miss on that breaking ball. 4 strikeouts for Adam Wainwright.
He breaks his bat over his leg.
Milwaukee strands 2 and 3 here this afternoon. Strikeout of McGee. What's on tap, and the difference is drinkability back home in St. Louis on Friday night to begin a 9-game homestand. The Braves and the Cardinals Friday at 6:30, and we'll have all the action on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals with a 4-run lead as we start play here in the top of the 6th, and game 1 of that series, Joel Pinheiro and Jair Jurgens. Jurgens 10-10 and Pinheiro 14-9. Our Chevy called to the bullpen, the lefty Chris Narveson.
Cardinal farmhand bounced around a little bit. His 16th appearance for Milwaukee, 1-0, ERA around 4 3/4. And remember, you go back to what Ken Maka says, he really likes him facing right-handers more than lefties. That is not uncommon when you talk to a lot of left-handed starters. That you just don't have that exceptional breaking ball or something, that they really do have more success against righties.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Molina.
Narveson did pitch on Monday against St. Louis. 1 inning, 1 hit. He walked 1 and struck out 2. Ooh, doesn't get the breaking ball there.
I guess your only concern coming out of this game today right now is Matt Holliday, just making sure that his knee or knees are okay. And for those of you that have just joined us, it's going down the line at first base and actually stumbled after the bag. And Pat, do you have an update on the Cardinal left fielder?
Yeah, the official word is bruised left knee. You saw the shot we had of him in the dugout there, wrapping both knees, or finishing up wrapping the right knee, but it's officially a bruised left knee. Precautionary reasons is why they're taking him out of the ball game. So we'll get an update from Tony La Russa and perhaps Matt Holliday during the post-game interviews.
All right, Pat.
Saw that replay. He kind of stubbed his toe, and then that tripped him. And he landed harder on the left knee. Really didn't get his hands down to break the fall at all. And both of them scraped up a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be fine. A football mentality.
1-1 here on Brendan Ryan. Matt Holliday, a former quarterback in high school.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. His dad was the Oklahoma State baseball coach there, and now he's moved on to North Carolina State.
One and 2 on the Cardinal shortstop. And Brendan hits it to the right side. A lot of English on that baseball, but put away. Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, so go online to StubHub. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee.
And this is going to be a Cardinal victory. It's guaranteed now. Cubs have won. They beat Pittsburgh 8-5, I believe. So that'll mean a Cardinal victory.
You ever seen anything like this?
No. I think it's been almost 5 weeks since the last time the Cubs have picked up a game on the Cardinals. As every time they win, the Cardinals win. Every time the Cubs lose, the Cardinals either win or they lose, but they just can't seem to gain any ground.
Wainwright doubled and scored in the 5th, and has also grounded out to Prince Fielder. 1 for 2. And a swing and a miss. So Narveson gets Molina, Ryan, and Wainwright midway through 6, 4-0. is brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And the new third-pound Angus burgers are here. Try one for yourself today. Only at McDonald's.
Hot dog.
Randall Simon was on to something, I think, Al.
Even you could make contact at the sausage race, right?
Thanks, Al. Even I could get contact, is right. Top of the lineup, Felipe Lopez, Craig Counsell, and Ryan Braun. First pitch popped foul and out of play, and this is the Wainwright we're accustomed to seeing.
Absolutely.
After his 5-inning outing last time out, now he's back to where he usually is, pitching into the 6th and beyond.
Sure would help his resume. He continue the shutout here.
Go to 18-7. I mean,
18-7 gets your attention.
Sure does, and a few more starts to go too. The Cardinals could have a situation with 20 game winners, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young Award, Fireman of the Year. I mean, there's a lot of manager, executive. Your Gold Glove would be Molina.
Oh, Gold Glove, yes.
Everything has just come together here in the second half. 1-2 pitch to Lopez. Wainwright has not gotten that pitch all afternoon.
And I'll tell you, you throw that pitch, it gets the attention of a hitter, and it'll keep him from diving out across the plate to get that breaking ball. So it's still an important pitch, even if you don't get the call.
2-2. There's the breaking ball,
So
and it's a fly ball out to right that carries to Ludwig.
Ray and Nancy Wisniewski from Belleville, Illinois, and Harvey and Carol Dressel from O'Fallon, Illinois, attending the game. Dave Watsoff from University City wants to say hi to the folks back home at the Digestive Disease Medical. Can't read the rest of it. Something. Endoscopic Center of St. Louis. The writing got a little small right there as he ran out of paper.
Here's Counsell, and he looks at a strike on the breaking ball.
Well, they all want to be, they're Cardinal fans and want to wish everybody a big hello and go Cards.
Counsell was thrown out at third, first time up, trying to stretch a double into a triple. There's another breaking ball, quickly 0-2. It's also grounded out to second.
Digestive and endoscopic. Sounds like you.
Another curveball, and he just got a piece. Molina couldn't hold on. Wainwright, by the way, has struck out 4 and allowed 4 base hits. Strikeout of Counsell, 5 today. So 2 outs, nobody on, and this young man needs someone else to play this game with.
I guarantee he's going to win.
Yes, he is.
He gets the bat first.
So 2 outs. It's all right. He's happy. He won. Ryan Braun in the air out to right. Ludwig there, and we played 6. It's 4-0 St. Louis. Supine to Albert Pujols. And that's home run number 46 for Albert. Skip Schumacher fouls it away against Narveson. His second inning of work. It's 4-0. Remember, the Brewers used 8 different pitchers last night. The Cardinals have the top of the lineup here with Skip. Colby Rasmus on deck, and then we'll see Albert Pujols. Schumacher has popped out to third, grounded to second, and also flied out to left. 1-1 swung on, and it's now 1-2. The Brewers can't come back. Supine would fall to 7-4 against the Cardinals in his career, and this season he would drop to 6-9. Wainwright trying to pick up win number 18. This breaking ball a little bit sharper today from Narveson than we saw the other night.
Yeah, it looks like it's got good action on it. He keeps it away from the lefties like that. He'll get lefties out.
Strikeout of Skip Schumacher with the fastball. So Narveson has seen 4 hitters and he's struck out 3 of them.
And hits his spot down and away with a good mid-90s fastball. So a good breaking ball and spot the fastball well. You're well on your way.
Rasmus RBI triple in the 5th. Grounded back to Supine in the 3rd. A hard hit ball, and then walked and scored in the RBI by Holiday in the 1st. And Colby hits it in the air to right field. Corey Hart over and makes the catch with the center fielder Garrett diving behind him. And Hart called that right away.
Little miscommunication. It's a good thing you didn't go flying into your right fielder. You would have lost. But you see him call for it. But you know, you're always trying to make an impression. There's good and bad.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Albert.
A nice, easy delivery that Albert's going to just say, I like this pitcher throwing right over the top.
Pujols today singled in the 1st, flied out to center, and his 2-run home run in the 5th. Last 5 games, 10 for 16. And Pujols cranks one deep left. Braun is back to the wall, and this one is gone. A 2-home run day for Albert Pujols. That's now 47 as he's closing in on his career high to tie it at 49 and looking for his first 50 home run campaign. That's now 47.
It's also he's 1 RBI, 124 to 125 from Prince Fielder, and also ties a record, his 10th multi-home run game this year and 33rd of his young career. That ties Mark McGwire with the Cardinals' single season home run mark, multi-home run games. McGwire set it 99. Hank Greenberg 1938, Sammy Sosa in 1998 share the major league lead with 11 multi-homer games in a single season. Albert has 10. Makes that RBI race a little more interesting.
3 more today and 1 back of Fielder.
You know, he's second in batting average, but a distant second.
Time to stretch. 5-0. And 3 hits today, 2 of those home runs. He's up to 124 and 1 back of the hitter to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Prince Fielder in that department. Fieldered 125. And Albert now with 47 home runs. And Prince slaps one foul the other way. If you're wondering, Pujols' average with the 3 hits today is now up to 331. Hanley Ramirez of Florida at 358. It would be very tough. Ramirez would have to go in the tank, and Pujols continue to scorch the ball, but it's not out of the question just yet. That's a ground rule double. Leadoff double for Fielder.
Fastball, and now he follows up with another fastball, up a little bit out away from him, and the ground rule double.
Strike to Hart. So Pujols 47 home runs. That's 6 ahead of Mark Reynolds. 1 back in the RBI department, and hitting 331. Hard with a long fly ball out to left, and Keel is over. Makes the catch near the foul line.
Good play.
Sure was. Fielder back to second, and here's Jody Garrett.
In the corner and makes a play, checks Fielder, who's not tagging.
You know, one of the things that he always does, 2 hands. I mean, rarely, if ever, does he not have that throwing hand on the glove.
Never get tired of seeing that, do you?
Nope. And you go back to that horrific crash that he had at the wall, and what turned out to be a catch early in the season. The reason it happened, he had 2 hands on it.
Right.
Very good defensive player, Rick Ankiel. You know he's got the great arm. Good speed, gets good jumps. And he's in left field right now for Holiday. Two and 0.
Tony and Dave Duncan kind of feel that they will take a little pressure off their starters after this series. But with Wainwright and Carpenter really candidates in the mix for the Cy Young, it kind of gives you a little different perspective on games like this.
90 pitches. And now a walk. Didn't miss by much. And when you say take pressure off the starters, maybe explain that to the folks at home.
Well, you could go basically with a 4-man rotation with all the off days, 1 a week. But they're going to basically stay with the 5. Loesch is added, Boggs is out, and really they'll be with the off day a week, kind of pitch into a once every 6 days. And then you kind of monitor their innings.
Runners at first and second. Kendall 1 for 2 with a base hit. You can see Molina pointing to his left shoulder. Maybe he's picking up something with Wainwright flying open here.
Flying open a little bit. Dave Duncan out to talk as Trevor Miller gets up. Trevor got a little bit of a rest his arm period too the last couple days.
Mentioned that Holiday is out of this game as just a precaution. Called it a left knee bruise, so they want to make sure and address that right away, but nothing serious apparently. Story today, Pujols, couple of home runs, 3 RBIs. And the pitching of Wainwright here, tossing a shutout. He would love a double play. Kendall's certainly a candidate. 1-1. Kendall, for many years, the odd combination of being a catcher and a leadoff man with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Still runs halfway decent for a guy that's caught so many games and innings. Got over 2,000 hits in his career, and kind of wonder where this strike zone is, which way it's evolving, because it seems like it's changing this inning a bit.
2-1 pitch. Kendall now ahead in the count. Really a defensive swing to be ahead in the count, 2-1.
He's been sort of that free swinger. Very little power, so I think he'll maybe a little bit too deep out in left field. Kobe shallow in center. Same with Ludwig in right.
2-2. And a swing and a miss. Kendall carved up. 6 strikeouts today for Adam Wainwright.
Once you come in this action, he was 5th on the National League in strikeouts, 4th in ERA. Does have 1 complete game. He's gone over 200 innings now to lead the National League in that department.
Wouldn't think he would finish this game. And now over 90 pitches.
Would not think it. Didn't.
5-run lead.
He's gotten through 7.
Escobar, right center. Colby is there. Brewers have stranded 5 on the day. 5-0. Cardinals. Stories today for the Cardinals as they lead it 5-0 as we move to the top of the 8th. Adam has struck out 6. The Cardinals offense provided a little bit by Colby Rasmus, RBI triple, and a lot from Pujols. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a 3-hit day. Ludwig against Narveson in his 3rd inning of work. Looks at a ball, 1-0.
For 25 is Ludwig on this road tour. Had the big game Friday night in Pittsburgh, 5 for 5, 5 RBIs.
2-1.
2 for 3 here today.
Two. And Ludwig hits it sharply to 3rd, and the catch made by Counsell. He's made a couple of fine plays over there at the hot corner here this afternoon.
He's 3.
It's twice that he's done this to Ludwig. That one a little bit easier than the other two. DeRosa's popped out, doubled, and also grounded out.
He's 1 for 2 off of Narveson with a home run. There's a lot of Cardinal fans have been here in Milwaukee.
0-1 pitch. And Counsell is there for out number 2.
Mike and Elaine Boyer, their ushers back in St. Louis, wish Mary Merrick speedy recovery. Tell Mary that she needs to join them next year in Milwaukee. And of course, all those ushers are looking forward to seeing all the Cardinal fans back at Busch Stadium starting Friday night against Atlanta.
Cardinals lead the Brewers 8-6 in the season series. We'll see the Braves Friday, as Al just told you. But you think about the pitching. Wainwright, 2-1 record against the Brewers and an ERA under 1, and Carpenter 2-0, ERA just over 1. So they've run into very good pitching in this series, and from those two all season long.
And we got another series at home. Close out the season against the Brewers.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Magic number is at 13. Cubs have won today. Cardinals could knock off another number with a win of their own.
Molina out to left. And he's digging for 2. 2-out double for Yadier Molina. Second time he's been on base. The other was being hit by a pitch in the 4th. Brendan Ryan singled in the 2nd, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 4th, and also grounded out in the 6th. Brendan pops it up. Fielder with it. He's got it. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's 5-0 Cardinals.
Designated driver, and by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Now let's flash back to earlier this season, as Tony now is going to make a pitching change. But here, Wainwright pitching here against the Brewers, and look at his numbers on July the 7th, 8 1/3, 7 hits, no runs, 2 walks. He came in with a 0.77 ERA against the Brewers, and he's pitched another outstanding game as he waited for the pinch hitter Gamble to be announced, and he comes out of this game with 7 shutout innings. And now look at Carpenter is 1-0, 17 innings, only 3 hits allowed, walks in Miller Park and 20 strikeouts. Wainwright 2-0, 22 1/3, and his ERA is less than a half. And we'll take a break, we'll step aside, and then Miller will be facing the pinch hitter.
Is in for Wainwright. Gamble was the announced pinch hitter. Now he's pulled back. Wainwright can only win this game. And it is Bourgeois, who we saw last night, as the pinch hitter now for Matt Gamble. Sweeping breaking ball and a strike.
Good numbers for Trevor Miller this year. Nice to see that he was rewarded for his great work. He got a contract extension. Coach only batting 180 against him. Really a left-handed specialist.
Wellemeyer and Mott getting loose in the pen. We had a question from a fan earlier about who would you rather face. This is lifted into left center, and a diving catch made by Rick Ankiel.
Very nice play once again by Rick, as he got a real good jump on the ball. Kobe was backing up, so it really was not risky for him to dive on that pitch. But let's go back. The breaking ball starts off Bourgeois with another one, and then he drills with a fastball out into left center. But great defense by Ankiel, comes up with the first out.
But one of the questions concerned the Phillies possibly being an opponent. This is cranked down the left field line and pulled out of here. It's a home run just over the wall for Felipe Lopez. And the Brewers get on the board. It's now 5-1. But one of the things I was going to say, Al, is that you got those lefties like Utley and Howard, where Trevor Miller's role becomes one of great importance in postseason play.
I don't think you have enough left-handers when you're facing a club like Philadelphia. Trevor gets that ball down and in, where right-handed batter just drops the bat head and hits it to the shortest part of the field. It's a home run. It's his 9th overall, 48th RBI, and the Brewers are on the scoreboard.
The co-aces Carpenter and Wainwright really shut down Milwaukee in this series.
They've done it all season long.
A 1 pitch to Counsell. Very well could see that Miller would not finish this inning. He'd face Counsell and then bring in one of the righties out from the bullpen to face Braun. Or would you feel comfortable that Miller stays in and you've got Fielder, who's also sitting there?
That's the problem, man. Kind of want to make sure you have a lefty And if you get to Fielder, you're in a situation where they'll be closing the gap. Looks like Mott continues to throw in the bullpen. Wellemeyer sat down, but Reyes is not up.
Counsell doubled and then was thrown out at third, trying to stretch it to a triple. He is grounded out to second and then struck out in the sixth. A 2-2.
Pretty good pitch right there, but doesn't get the call. I was a little surprised with the pitch selection in Pittsburgh, where Garrett Jones, the young rookie first baseman, got base hits on 2 occasions against Trevor Miller, including the game winner on Sunday, and both times he was hitting the sinker, not his breaking ball.
A strikeout of Counsell. So 2 outs. Wainwright, Carpenter at Miller Park this season, 3-0, and only 1 earned run in 39 1/3.
And look at 44 strikeouts for an ERA of 0.23.
Wow.
7 walks, 44 strikeouts.
So Tony La Russa, that long walk from the dugout to the mound. And he will go with Mott as Miller gives up the home run to Lopez, and Mott will come in to face Ryan Braun. 5-1, St. Louis. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Up there to get the fireworks.
Looks like a 1-batter appearance, as Mott is hoping to get the final out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Reyes is warming up with the on-deck hitter. As you look at the numbers for Jason, still high ERA, but this has been a big learning experience for him. 99 miles an hour with that pitch. And Braun looked like he was right on it.
Sure did.
So usually very tough, especially in these shadows where you throw that hard and you're only coming in to face one guy or one inning. And now you can see how he's trying to get the sunlight back in, but he looks like he gets his man.
Pops it up, and Albert is there. Sent this to the ninth. Good work by Mott. 5-1 Cardinals.
Cardinals holding the advantage. When we continue on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live immediately after the game, Jim Hayes, Rick Horton will break it all down. They'll be talking about Adam Wainwright's breaking them down, the breaking ball, the curveball working well for him. Talk about Albert Pujols' big series here in Milwaukee, and we'll get Tony's take. We'll go inside the Cardinal clubhouse, bring you player reaction. We'll try to get an update on Matt Holliday as well. So stick around right after the game. It's U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Dan, Al?
All right, Pat, thanks. And it's a 5-1 Cardinals lead. Haven't seen Joe Thurston much, and he'll be the pinch hitter here for St. Louis. And then we'll see Skip Schumacher and Colby Rasmus. Anybody can reach, then Pujols. First pitch is fouled back right below us to our left as Thurston lost his bat. New pitcher is Chris Smith, and his 25th appearance of the season. ERA that's under 4. He's got 23 strikeouts and just about 34 innings of work.
His second stint, as he was recalled on September 1st from AAA Nashville. 2-0 ERA, 1.27, 17 saves in 28 games for Nashville. And as I said, he's been up here prior to that with the big club, originally signed with Boston.
1-1 on Thurston. You know, Tony likes Joe in this spot. He's given them some competitive at bats, and some of the outs Tony was saying have been hard outs like that. And his fielder makes the play to Smith. I want to remind folks it's the Fleece Blanket Night Friday night at the ballpark. Good seats still available against the Braves. And then Saturday we have a giveaway as well with the Banner Night. All-Star Banner Night will be Saturday. And good seats remaining for all 3 games against the Atlanta Braves this weekend.
Be a fun homestand.
Cardinals have 3 with the Braves, 3 with Florida. Off day next Thursday. And then Chicago. Ground ball sharply hit to second. Lopez to his left, 2 away.
Smith was a 4th rounder by Boston back in 2002. Made his major league debut last year with Boston. 12 games.
You figure that Reyes is getting loose for fielder,
Yep.
and then McClellan would come in after that.
That's it. You read Tony's mind.
Yeah.
And once again, can you get another victory when you're resting your closer, who we mentioned it earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. Ryan Franklin was named the winner of the Major League Baseball Delivery Man of the Month award for August. Congratulations.
There's a line drive and a base hit, and one more time to hit for Albert Pujols. His fans are appreciative that Colby picked up the hit to extend it to Albert.
He's already got 3 hits and his 10th multi-home run game of this season. 33rd of his career.
It's for the RBIs by Holliday and Pujols. Holliday back in the first, 3 by Albert, the other by Colby Rasmus.
Let's pass up Prince Fielder. RBIs. He's 1 away from tying him. .331 now, 47 home runs, 124 RBIs.
And an 0-1 pitch to Pujols. Albert cranks one into deep center. On the track, they'll make the catch. Pujols tattooed it again, but not far enough. Bottom of the ninth coming up. 10th multi-home run game this season, 33rd of his career. And Albert is our Budweiser player of the game.
Ties McGuire for the single season most multi-home run games. And one off the major league record.
So Dennis Reyes will at least start the inning. 66th appearance. Overall, opponents hitting .240, and both these lefties have done a pretty good job against left-handed batters this year. In particular, Miller.
He's only batting .205 against Reyes, and this is his 66th appearance. He leads his team with those appearances.
And with the lefty on the mound, the shift is not there for Prince Fielder.
It looked like Schumacher's had to come back in as he was racing out. Now he's starting to back up a little bit.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Interesting, though, isn't it?
It is. And the Cardinals picked up a run in the first, 3 in the 5th, and 1 in the 7th. They've out-hit the Brewers 11-6 and lead it 5-1. The Shadows certainly back in play again as sunshine is coming through the windows. They're down the right field line and right on the batter's box.
So you see the pitcher's totally in shade, but then the ball will come from shade to sunlight, making it all the more difficult to see.
A 2-1 pitch hit the other way, and Keel, who has made a couple of good plays, 2 hands, puts it away for the first out. Had the diving catch and also a running play down the left field line and deep. 1 away, and Tony goes back to his bullpen. Kyle McClellan coming in. Right-hander Kyle McClellan trying to finish off this game for the Cardinals. Saw him last night pick up the save, and Hawksworth got the win as the Cardinals held on for a 4-3 win, and now they lead this ball game 5-1. Corey Hart on the first pitch, a swing and a miss.
Kyle was very good last night as he picked up his 3rd save in perfect fashion.
Hart out to left, and Keel for out number 2. The Cardinals 1 out away from a sweep of Milwaukee and winning 5 of 6 on the road trip.
And making Wainwright an 18-game winner. 18-7, lowers his ERA. The Cardinals making a statement on the offense of Albert Pujols. A multi-home run game for Prince Albert.
Here's Jody Garrett, the final hold for Milwaukee.
Cardinals' Prince was better than their Prince. I think we're slighting Albert when we call him just a Prince. How about King?
MVP.
I was saying the other day, Dan, that you already it would be three MVP awards in the last 5 years, and how many do you think he should have had? That Bonds was the winner, but he could have had 5 or at least 5, maybe even 6 in his first 9 years if he gets the one this year.
You're right. Brewers down to their final strike here on Garrett. 5-1 Cardinals in the ninth. The 1-2 pitch. Now Garrett steps out. The 1-2. Ground ball. Who else? Pujols. Underhands. McClellan is there, and the Cardinals win it. 5-1. And that's win number 84 on the year. Big day for Pujols.